The MLS is back and it was a very quick off-season for my Toronto FC. First winning the MLS Cup, and then having played a couple games already in the CONCACAF Champions League, in the round of 16 against the Colorado Rapids. So before we kick off the new season, let's go over the off-season moves the teams have made. And this year we have one expansion team. So we start with the expansion team in the Los Angeles FC, who will be competing in the Western Conference. Starting with the goalkeepers, young goalkeeper Tyler Miller was selected with their first pick in the expansion draft from the Seattle Sounders. Young Honduran goalkeeper Luis Lopez signed as a free agent, coming from his country's side Real España. Goalkeeper Charlie Lyon signed as a free agent, coming from Orange County SC of the USL. For the backfield, Egyptian defender Omar Gabber is on loan from Swiss side FC Basel. Young defender Walker Zimmerman was traded from FC Dallas for allocation money. Veteran Belgian defender Laurent Simon was traded from the Montreal Impact for Finnish defender Jukka Raitala and 22-year-old Canadian defender Raheem Edwards, who they initially got in the expansion draft from the Columbus Crew and Toronto FC with the 4th and 5th selections respectively. Veteran defender Jordan Harvey signed as a free agent coming from the Vancouver Whitecaps. 20-year-old Portuguese defender João Moutinho was the first overall selection out of the Super Draft. Veteran Iranian international defender Steven Beitashour signed as a free agent, previously playing for Toronto FC. Signed veteran Canadian international defender Diane Yakovic as a free agent, coming from the New York Cosmos of the NASL. 21-year-old defender Tristan Blackman was selected with the 3rd overall pick in the Super Draft. Now for the midfielders, 19-year-old Nigerian Monday Atim had already signed with the team last year back in around May. Veteran midfielder Benny Feilhaber was traded from Sporting KC for allocation money. They got Scottish midfielder Callum Mallis in the re-entry draft. Young midfielder Aaron Kovar is on loan from the Seattle Sounders. Young Canadian midfielder Mark Anthony Kay transferred and signed from USL side Louisville City. 20-year-old Colombian midfielder Eduard Atuesta transferred from his country's side Independiente Medellin. 20-year-old midfielder James Murphy signed as a free agent, coming from English side Sheffield Wednesday FC. And the forwards, Mexican forward Carlos Vela is a transfer from Spanish club Real Sociedad as a designated player. 21-year-old Argentinian forward Rodrigo Pacheco is on loan from Lannis of his country. 21-year-old Ghanaian forward Latif Blessing was selected 2nd in the expansion draft from Sporting KC. Costa Rican forward Marco Urania was selected 3rd in the expansion draft from the San Jose Earthquakes. And 19-year-old Uruguayan forward Diego Rossi transferred and signed from Peñarol of his country as a DP. So with a good mix of veterans and young talent, it seems LAFC has put together a pretty nice squad to kick off their inaugural season. So for the Eastern Conference, we start with Atlanta United FC. Goalkeeper Mitch Hildebrand signed as a free agent, coming from FC Cincinnati of the USL. 16-year-old defender George Bello signed a homegrown contract mid-season last year but is in effect beginning this year. Young Argentine defender Franco Escobar transferred and signed from Newell's Old Boys of his country. 20-year-old Venezuelan defender Jose Hernandez is a transfer from Caracas FC of his country. Nigerian defender Gabenga Erakoyo was traded from the Portland Timbers along with American international midfielder Darlington Nagbe for allocation money. Veteran defender Sal Zizzo signed as a free agent coming from the New York Red Bulls. 18-year-old Argentine midfielder Ezekiel Barco transferred and signed as a DP from Independiente, a club from his country. Oliver Shannon is a 22-year-old English midfielder who was drafted in the 2nd round in the Super Draft. 19-year-old American forward Lagos Kunga signed as a homegrown player. 19-year-old Nigerian forward Patrick Okonkwo is also a homegrown player. 22-year-old Irish-born forward John Gallagher was drafted in the 1st round 14th overall in the Super Draft. And 22-year-old German-born forward Gordon Wild is a 2nd round draft pick from the Super Draft. So it seems Atlanta United got a lot younger. Now for the Chicago Fire, 22-year-old defender Grant Lillard signed as a homegrown product. Young Portuguese defender Rafael Ramos was traded from the Orlando City FC for the homegrown rights to 20-year-old midfielder Cam Lindley and allocation money. 21-year-old English midfielder Mo Adams was a 10th overall pick in the Super Draft. Serbian midfielder Alexander Katai is on loan from Spanish club Deportivo Alave. Cameroonian midfielder Tony Chani was traded from the Vancouver Whitecaps for allocation money. 22-year-old Costa Rican midfielder Diego Campos was a 2nd round pick in the Super Draft. John Becerro is a 21-year-old Spanish forward who was the 5th overall selection in the Super Draft. Young Kiwi forward Elliot Collier was a 3rd round pick in the Super Draft. So not a lot of moves for Chicago. Next we have the Columbus Crew SC. Young goalkeeper John Kempin was acquired through a trade with the LA Galaxy for a 4th round pick in the Super Draft. 22-year-old goalkeeper Ben Lundgaard was drafted in the 1st round 21st overall in the Super Draft. 19-year-old Argentine defender Milton Valenzuela is loaned from his country's club Newell's Old Boys as a DP with an option to buy. Veteran midfielder Mike Grella was selected by the Colorado Rapids in the re-entry draft, and then traded to Columbus for a second-round pick in the 2019 Super Draft. 21-year-old Venezuelan midfielder Eduardo Souza transferred and signed from Zamora FC of his country. Ricardo Clark is a veteran midfielder who signed as a free agent coming from the Houston Dynamo. 22-year-old midfielder Luis Argudo was a third-round pick in the Super Draft. 20-year-old Ghanaian forward Edward Opoku is a second-round pick from the Super Draft, and forward Gayasi Zardes was traded with some allocation money from the LA Galaxy for Norwegian forward Ola Kamara. Then we have DC United. Veteran Danish goalkeeper David Osted was traded from the Vancouver Whitecaps for a second-round pick in the Super Draft. Veteran French defender Frederic Brion was acquired from New York City FC in exchange for allocation money and an international roster spot. Jamaican defender O'Neal Fisher was traded to DC for allocation money from the Seattle Sounders. Young Costa Rican midfielder Ulises Segura is a transfer from Deportivo Saprissa of his country. Junior Moreno is a young Venezuelan midfielder who transferred and signed from his country side Zulia FC. Young Argentine midfielder Yamil Assad got his rights acquired from Atlanta United for allocation money and is now signed on loan from Vélez Sarsfield of his country with an option to buy. And Jamaican forward Darren Maddox was traded from the Portland Timbers for an international roster slot. So a few trades and a couple transfers for DC. Moving on to the Montreal Impact, 21-year-old Canadian goalkeeper James Pantemis is a homegrown product. Young Senegalese goalkeeper Clement Diop was picked up from the waiver draft. Young Canadian goalkeeper Jason Beaulieu is also a homegrown player. And 20-year-old Canadian defender Thomas Meyer-Jaguer is another homegrown player. Finnish defender Jukka Raitala was initially selected by Los Angeles FC in the expansion draft, and then traded along with 22-year-old Canadian defender Raheem Edwards, who was also selected from the expansion draft, to Montreal for veteran Belgian defender Laurent Simon. 22-year-old Canadian defender Michael Petrasso was transferred from English club Queen's Park Rangers. Veteran French-Senegalese defender Zakaria Diallo signed a 2-year contract. He previously played for Stade Brest, a French club. Algerian international midfielder Safir Taider is a transfer from Italian side Bologna. 20-year-old Chilean midfielder Jason Vargas transferred and signed from Universidad Católica of his country. 21-year-old Japanese-born midfielder Ken Krolicki is a third-round pick in the Super Draft, so quite a few moves made by Montreal. The New England Revolution signed Syrian international defender Gabriel Somi, moving from Östersunds FK of Sweden. Jalil Anibaba is a defender who signed as a free agent, coming from the Houston Dynamo. 22-year-old Guatemalan defender Nicolas Samayoa is a fourth-round selection in the Super Draft. 22-year-old defender Brandon Bai was the 8th overall selection in the Super Draft. 18-year-old midfielder Isaac Anking signed as a homegrown player. Young French midfielder Wilfried Zahibo signed as a free agent coming from Spanish side Gymnastic. 21-year-old midfielder Mark Segbers is the 9th overall pick in the Super Draft. And Ecuadorian forward Christian Pania is on loan from Mexican club Pachuca. Next is New York City FC. Goalkeeper Brad Stuver was traded from the Columbus Crew in exchange for a 2019 4th-round pick. 22-year-old goalkeeper Jeff Caldwell is a first-round 14th overall pick in the Super Draft. Swedish defender Anton Tinnerholm signed on a free transfer, previously playing on Malmo FF of his country. Defender Saad Abdul Salam was traded from Sporting KC for young forward Kyrie Shelton. Young Benin international defender Cedric Hutanji signed as a free agent coming from French club Gazelic Ajaccio. Defender Sebastian Abiga is a free agent signing. He played for USL side San Antonio FC last season. 20-year-old Paraguayan midfielder Jesus Medina transferred and signed as a DP from his country's side Libertad. 22-year-old Ghanaian midfielder Ebenezer Afori is on loan from JFB Stuttgart of Germany. Young Libyan international forward Ismail Tajuri signed as a transfer from Austria Wien. And Jo Inge Berget is a Norwegian forward who signed as a free agent. He last played for Malmo FF of Sweden. And for the New York Red Bulls, 21-year-old defender Tommy Redding was traded along with young Colombian forward Carlos Rivas from Orlando City SC for their captain veteran midfielder Sasha Koleshin and allocation money. 21-year-old defender Kevin Politz is a homegrown product. Defender Tim Parker was traded from the Vancouver Whitecaps for Brazilian midfielder Felipe and international roster spot and allocation money. French midfielder Florian Vallot signed out of their USL team, the New York Red Bulls too. 17-year-old midfielder Ben Mines is a homegrown product. German midfielder Mark Zakowski is on loan from Austrian side Red Bull Salzburg. 18-year-old Venezuelan midfielder Christian Caceres Jr. transferred and signed from his country's club Deportivo La Guera. Young Argentine midfielder Alejandro Romero Gamara is a transfer as a DP from Huracan of his country. Forward Stefano Bonomo signed out of their USL team. And 22-year-old forward Armando Moreno signed as a free agent coming from Mexican side Tijuana. And for Orlando City SC, goalkeeper Adam Grinwis is a free agent signing. He played for USL club St. Louis FC last year. Defender RJ Allen was acquired from New York City FC in exchange for a third-round pick in the Super Draft. Libyan defender Mohamed El Monir signed as a free agent, coming from Serbian club Partizan. Egyptian defender Amro Tarek is on loan from Wadi Degla FC of his country. Veteran Senegalese defender Lamine Sané transferred and signed from German side Werder Bremen. Veteran defender Chris Schuler signed as a free agent, coming from Real Salt Lake. Veteran midfielder Sasha Kleshin was traded with allocation money from the New York Red Bulls for young Colombian midfielder Carlos Rivas and 21-year-old defender Tommy Redding. 19-year-old Paraguayan midfielder Josue Colman transferred and signed as a DP from Cerro Porteño of his country. 20-year-old midfielder Cam Lindley had his homegrown rights traded from the Chicago Fire with some allocation money for young Portuguese defender Rafael Ramos. 21-year-old forward Chris Mueller was drafted 6th overall in the Super Draft. Iraq international midfielder Justin Meram was traded from the Columbus Crew for allocation money and an international roster spot. Catalonian international midfielder Oriol Rosell was signed by allocation. Brazilian forward Stefano Pinho signed as a free agent. He played for Miami FC of the NASL last year. And young forward Jose Villarreal was traded by the LA Galaxy in exchange for a 2019 third-round draft pick. So a bunch of upgrades for Orlando. Next is the Philadelphia Union. 18-year-old defender Matthew Reel signed as a homegrown player, and same with 19-year-old defender Mark McKenzie. 19-year-old midfielder Anthony Fontana signed his homegrown contract mid-last year and is now in effect. And their main move was acquiring Ghanaian midfielder David Akam from the Chicago Fire in exchange for allocation money. Czech midfielder Borak Dokal is on loan as a DP from Chinese side Henan Jenya FC, and Jamaican forward Corey Burke signed out of their USL affiliate, the Bethlehem Steel. Finally, for the East, we have the 2017 Supporters Shield winners, Eastern Conference champions, and MLS champions, my team, Toronto FC. We got veteran Australian international goalkeeper Caleb Patterson-Sewell, who signed as a free agent after his rights was acquired from the New York Red Bulls in exchange for a 4th-round pick in the 2019 Super Draft. Veteran Dutch defender Gregory Vanderweel transferred and signed from Italian side Cagliari. 22-year-old Brazilian defender Oro is on loan from Sao Paulo FC of his country. 20-year-old Canadian midfielder Liam Fraser signed as a homegrown player. Young Spanish midfielder Adger Aketsi signed as a free agent coming from Spanish club Athletic Bilbao. And 18-year-old forward Ayo Akinola has signed as a homegrown player. So not a lot of moves, but some very nice upgrades for my team. And moving to the West, I covered expansion side LAFC already in the beginning, so now for the Colorado Rapids. Veteran goalkeeper Andrew Dykstra was traded from Sporting KC for a 2nd-round pick in the 2020 Super Draft. 22-year-old New Zealand international defender Declan Wynn was acquired in a trade with the Vancouver Whitecaps in exchange for allocation money. Veteran American international defender Edgar Castillo has come on loan from Mexican side Monterrey. New Zealand international defender Tommy Smith has transferred and signed from English club Ipswich Town FC. Scottish defender Danny Wilson has transferred and signed a 3-year contract coming from Rangers FC of his country. 18-year-old defender Sam Vine signed a 3-year homegrown player contract. Veteran Swedish midfielder Johan Blomberg signed as a free agent, previously played for his country's side AIK. English midfielder Jack Price transferred and signed a reported 4-year contract from his country's side Wolverhampton. Enzo Martinez is a Uruguayan midfielder. He was signed as a free agent coming from USL club Charlotte Independence. And Colorado had to send a 2021 4th-round pick to Real Salt Lake to acquire his rights. They traded for young forward Jack McBean from the LA Galaxy, sending them a conditional 4th-round pick in the 2019 Super Draft. Irish international forward Joe Mason is on loan from English side Wolverhampton. And 22-year-old forward Nicky Jackson was a 4th-round pick in the Super Draft. So a lot of upgrades for Colorado. And now we have FC Dallas. Goalkeeper Jimmy Maurer signed as a free agent. He was on loan with the team last year as property of the New York Cosmos of the NASL. And fellow goalkeeper Kyle Zobek signed as a free agent. He is also coming from the New York Cosmos. Young Bulgarian defender Anton Nedyakov transferred and signed from CSKA Sofia of his country. Veteran Swiss defender Reto Zegler transferred and signed from FC Luzern of his country. 22-year-old defenders Chris Reeves and Jordan Cano and 18-year-old midfielder Brandon Cervania are all homegrown products. 20-year-old Ghanaian midfielder Emma Tuamasi went 11th overall in the Super Draft. Young Colombian midfielder Santiago Mosquera transferred and signed as a designated player from Millonarios FC of his country. 21-year-old Ghanaian forward Francis Atohene is a 4th overall pick in the Super Draft, so quite a few moves for Dallas. For the Houston Dynamo, veteran goalkeeper Chris Seiss signed as a free agent coming from FC Dallas. Young goalkeeper Michael Nelson is a 1st-round 20th overall pick in the Super Draft. 21-year-old Venezuelan defender Alejandro Fuenmayer is a transfer from Carabobo FC of his country. Veteran Salvadorian international midfielder Arturo Alvarez was traded by the Chicago Fire in exchange for a 2nd-round pick in the 2019 Super Draft. Young midfielder Eric Bird signed as a free agent, coming from their USL affiliate club Rio Grande Valley FC Toros. And Salvadoran midfielder Darwin Suren was traded from the San Jose Earthquakes for allocation money. Young forward Max Steves is a second-round pick in the Super Draft. So just a few moves for Houston. Next is the LA Galaxy. Acquired goalkeeper David Bingham's rights from the San Jose Earthquakes in exchange for allocation money. Signed goalkeeper Brian Sylvester as a free agent, coming from the now USL side North Carolina FC, moving from the NASL this year. Norwegian defender Jorgen Skjelvik joined as a free transfer coming from his country side Rosenborg. Venezuelan international defender Rolf Feldscher signed as a free agent. He is joining from English club Cardiff City. Montenegrin defender Emre Clemente signed as a free agent, coming from USL side Sacramento Republic FC. 22-year-old defender Thomas Hilliard-Ars was a second overall draft pick in the Super Draft. Midfielder Perry Kitchen signed after LA acquired his rights from the DC United using allocation money. He is joining from Randers FC, a Danish club. Midfielder Servando Carrasco was picked up from the re-entry draft. Veteran midfielder Chris Ponti is signed as a free agent, previously playing for the Philadelphia Union. And they got Norwegian forward Ola Kamara in a deal that sent forward Gayasi Zardes and allocation money to the Columbus Crew. So a ton of moves for LA. Now for the Minnesota United FC. Goalkeeper Matt Lamson came in the trade, including the 15th overall pick in the Super Draft and allocation money, sending the 5th overall pick to the Chicago Fire. They got veteran English defender Tyrone Mears in the first round of the re-entry draft. Young Cameroonian defender Bertrand Uwundu Echo signed on a free transfer from his country side Rainbow FC. 22-year-old defender Wyatt Omsberg is the first round 15th overall pick in the Super Draft. 21-year-old defender Carter Manley is the first round 23rd overall pick in the Super Draft. 21-year-old English midfielder Harrison Heath signed after Minnesota got his rights from Atlanta United for a 2019 4th-round draft pick. He is joining his dad Adrian Heath, who's the head coach of the team. Young Cameroonian midfielder Frans Pangop signed as a free agent coming from Union Douala of his country. 21-year-old Brazilian midfielder Luis Fernando is on loan from Fluminense of his country with an option to buy. And 19-year-old forward Mason Toya was the 7th overall pick in the Super Draft. Now we have the first place team in the West last season, the Portland Timbers. Young Costa Rican defender Julio Cascante transferred and signed from Deportivo Saprissa of his country. Young American international defender Modo Jadama signed as a free agent. He played for the Tulsa Roughnecks FC of the USL last year. Young Peruvian midfielder Andy Polo is on loan from Mexican side Morelia. 20-year-old midfielder Eric Williamson is a homegrown player. Salvadoran midfielder Andres Flores signed as a free agent coming from the New York Cosmos of the NASL. 19-year-old Paraguayan midfielder Christian Paredes is on loan from Mexican side Club America. 22-year-old forward Foster Langsdorff signed as a homegrown player. And Swedish forward Samuel Armenteros is on loan from Italian side Benevento. So several changes for Portland. Moving on, we have Real Salt Lake. 20-year-old defender Aaron Herrera signed a homegrown player contract. Defender Taylor Pay was signed after his rights was acquired from the Portland Timbers for a 3rd-round pick in this year's Super Draft. He played for the USL team Real Monarchs last season. Young Welsh international defender Adam Henley signed as a free agent coming from the Blackburn Rovers FC, an English club. Defender Sean Barry signed as a free agent, coming from Polish side Corona Kielce. 19-year-old Argentine midfielder Pablo Ruiz is a transfer from Chilean side San Luis. Croatian midfielder Damir Kralak signed as a free agent. He previously played for German club Union Berlin. 20-year-old forward Brooks Lennon transferred from English side Liverpool after playing with Salt Lake on loan last season. Spanish forward Alfredo Ortuño signed as a free agent coming from Valladolid of his country. And 22-year-old forward Corey Baird signed as a homegrown player. And now the San Jose Earthquakes. 20-year-old goalkeeper JT Marcinkowski is a homegrown product. Swedish international defender Joel Kleiberg signed on a free transfer to a multi-year contract. He's coming from Broma Parchkana of his country. Defender Jimmy Ockford signed out of USL club Reno 1868 FC. 16-year-old defender Jacob Akanyariji signed a homegrown player contract. 21-year-old Uruguayan defender Jefferson Quintana is on loan from his country side Pinheiro with an option to buy. 22-year-old midfielder Luis Felipe and young midfielder Chris Wehan also signed out of the USL club Reno 1868 FC. 20-year-old midfielder Eric Calvillo signed as a free agent to a multi-year contract coming from the New York Cosmos of the NASL. 16-year-old midfielder Gilbert Fuentes signed a homegrown player contract. And Swedish forward Magnus Eriksson transferred and signed as a DP from Djurgårdens IF of his country. 22-year-old forward Danny Musovski was a 2nd-round pick in the Super Draft. Young forward Mohamed Thial is also a 2nd-round draft pick. So a ton of changes for San Jose. Now for the 2017 Western Conference champions, the Seattle Sounders FC. Goalkeeper Kelly Brown signed as a free agent coming from the Houston Dynamo. Costa Rican defender Waylon Francis was traded from the Columbus Crew for some allocation money. Young defender Jordan McCrary signed as a free agent out of the USL club Toronto FC 2. Korean defender Kim Ki-hee signed as a free agent using allocation money. He previously played for Chinese side Shanghai Shenhua. 18-year-old midfielder Hanwha Labwana is a homegrown player. Norwegian midfielder Magnus Wolff Eikram joined as a free agent coming from Malmö FF of Sweden. 21-year-old midfielder Alex Roldan was selected in the first round 22nd overall out of the Super Draft. So just a few changes for last year's MLS Cup finalists. And Sporting Kansas City, young goalkeeper Eric Dick was the 13th overall pick in the Super Draft. 22-year-old Argentine defender Emiliano Amor is on loan from Vélez Sarsfield of his country. 21-year-old defender Matt Lewis is a homegrown product. 22-year-old defender Graham Smith is a first-round 18th overall pick in the Super Draft. French midfielder Johan Crozet transferred and signed as a DP from KV Mechelen, a Belgian club. Scottish midfielder Johnny Russell transferred and signed on a 3-year deal from English side Derby County FC. Chilean midfielder Felipe Gutierrez is a designated player free agent signing coming from Spanish side Real Betis. Veteran midfielder Brad Evans has signed as a free agent coming from the Seattle Sounders. Young forward Kyrie Shelton was traded from New York City FC for defender Saad Abdul Salam. And finally, we have the Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Goalkeeper Brian Rowe was acquired in a deal with LA. The Galaxy got a second-round draft pick in this year's Super Draft. Young Canadian defender Doniel Henry has signed by allocation as a free agent. He last played for Danish club AC Horsens as property of English side West Ham United. Veteran defender Sean Franklin signed as a free agent coming from DC United. Young Uruguayan defender Jose Aja was traded from Orlando City SC for allocation money. 19-year-old midfielder David Norman Jr. is a homegrown player. Veteran Mexican midfielder Efren Juarez transferred and signed from his country side Monterrey. English midfielder Jordan Much is on loan from English club Crystal Palace with an option to buy. Brazilian midfielder Felipe was traded with an international roster spot and allocation money from the New York Red Bulls for defender Tim Parker. Young Venezuelan forward Anthony Blondell was transferred and signed from Monegasque of his country after his rights were acquired from FC Dallas for some allocation money. Veteran Sierra Leonean forward Kai Kamara was traded from the New England Revolution for a 2019 first-round pick and a conditional 2020 second-round pick. And 20-year-old Kiwi forward Meyer Bevan signed out of their USL team Whitecaps FC2. So I hope that helped you get set for the new MLS season. And good luck to your team. So thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hope to see you in the next episode.